Hi, everybody. Welcome to Valley Views, what you see and what you hear in the Coachella Valley. Somehow we got through March without saying happy birthday to so many of my good Aries friends, but it's still April, so happy birthday to you. And this is my favorite card that I got, and I was blessed to get a lot of them. I think she looks like me. She has red hair and she's a little chubby. So there she is, but here's her message. The birthday fairy has come to wave her wand and lay another year on you. She needs to get that thing fixed. You don't look any older. My favorite. We have such a great show for you today. We're going to talk to, it's COD, my favorite college in all the world except maybe Carolina. Kind of a tie. They're celebrating, that's just it, Celebrate the Bloom at Toscana. One of my favorite places. We have Eileen Hall and Peter Sturgeon, and we will talk with them this half hour. We will talk with Joe Rosen about Parkinson's, and we will talk with Richard Rupp about a wonderful book he's written, Death and Taxes. Hope you can sit back, relax, enjoy Valley Views, and we'll be right back.
What do you have when you buy a Lexus from Desert Lexus? Peace of mind. The peace of mind knowing Desert Lexus has a large inventory of new and certified pre-owned Lexus vehicles for you to choose from, and a service department conveniently open Saturdays, offering a fleet of complimentary service loaners to keep you on schedule. For over 25 years, Desert Lexus has been giving their customers peace of mind. Desert Lexus, located at the Cathedral City Auto Center, or online at desertlexus.com.
Spotlight 29 Casino has $40 with your name on it. Sign up as a new Club 29 member and immediately get $10 in free play for your favorite machine and $10 in match play for your favorite table game. And if you come back within 2 weeks, you'll get another $10 in both free play and match play. Signing up is easy and free. Visit Club 29 today and start playing with $40 on us. Only at Spotlight 29 Casino, the Valley's best bet.
COD, one of my favorite places to go. I don't know if you've been over there and taken the tour, but it's phenomenal. I want to know all about Celebrate the Bloom. And this is Eileen Hall. You are the COD Foundation Academic Angels President, which is such a great title.
And it's a long title.
It is a long
title. It doesn't
title.
fit on a name badge.
Just get your name on it. And Peter is the Director of Development for the COD Foundation. Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Bravo for both of you.
Yeah.
So tell us about your big event at Toscana.
This year we're celebrating our 31st year as the Academic Angels. Prior to the Academic Angel name, we were known as the College of the Desert Auxiliary.
Yes.
That started back in 1985.
Yeah.
And actually Velma Dawson of Howdy Doody fame was the lady that was the inspiration for starting this group.
So great.
Now we are the Academic Angels, and this spring our theme is Celebrate the Bloom at Toscana, a lovely luncheon, and the public is invited. We have tickets available, and you will be one of our guest speakers.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what I'll say. Probably I'll talk about Carson going to school there.
I think that's perfect.
It's kind of a funny story, actually. Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to hearing that story about Carson.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've got 12,000 students at the college, and the work that the Academic Angels does for the foundation and for our students, just it's unbelievable. We're overwhelmed by the generosity of the ladies that are involved in the Angels, and this event is going to be one of the best ones in the Valley that happens all season long. So we're very excited to be a part of it.
That's so great. And you know, every time I drive by there, it's just growing. And growing. Peggy's building turned out so beautiful.
Oh, it's fabulous.
Peggy Cravens.
It's fabulous.
It really looks like a college now, and when you drive by on Monterey Avenue and you see the front entrance and you see Peggy's building and the other communication building on the other side, it's just, and then it frames the Hilb Center. It really is a gorgeous campus.
Well, and you have people there. I mean, you know all of them. I know a few of them. Who are so dedicated and who believe so much in COD.
It really, Patty, we are changing lives every day. We have, as I mentioned, 12,000 students. all of them come to us with some need for financial aid, some need for remedial work. They're all jumping over tremendous hurdles to get their education. We have students that come from Mecca, 2 hours on the bus, take a 40-minute class, ride 2 hours back.
Really?
And it really, when you talk to any of our students, you find this passion for education, and so it really makes Eileen's job and my job easy to support them. It really does.
You know, because for me, I've gone through now. Both my children went to college. Quinn went to Loyola Marymount, and did very, very well. Carson wasn't really as interested in going, but I did speak with him, and so he started at Loyola. But once, well, I'll say this because some people won't be at your luncheon who'll hear it. But we were here, some of his friends came down, and one of his friends was playing baseball at UCLA. And he said, Carson, why in the world are you going to Loyola Marymount? I mean, you could go to COD. You could play golf. You could get a great education. And so Carson said, yeah, that's a really good idea. And do you know, when he transferred, and this is true, there were classes that were being taught here by the professor who had written the books that he was studying at Loyola Marymount.
Really? Yeah.
I think it's a little known fact.
Yeah. That is a great story, and it's really indicative of the faculty that we have there. A lot of people may have slowed down in their teaching career from in the Northeast and Northwest, and have come down to the Valley, like many of us, to slow down and retire and enjoy the weather. And they're now giving back to our students. And we have some great faculty that have tremendous background. Most of our students don't even realize the quality of faculty that we have, that they're getting for not very much money for tuition, where if they were going to the UCLAs or the USCs or those schools, they'd be paying far more. So our students are getting great value and a great education. And
you know, we had two professors here, and we were talking, this is a long time ago, but I never forgot it. And one was saying that there was a time when you thought that the best thing for your son or daughter to do would be to go to a 4-year and the best school they could possibly get into. But the other theory was that they should go to a really, really good local college and get their credits for 2 years and then transfer maybe to a college that they couldn't have gotten into as a freshman.
Well, here, let me tell you what the research shows on the students that go to a 2-year college. Those students that go to a college and learn in small classes of 20, 30 students, taught by the faculty member, not by a teacher's assistant, not in a 200-person auditorium, and stay at home, still have that foundation of home around them. When they transfer to a 4-year, they will graduate from that 4-year with a higher GPA and in greater numbers than the native 4-year student. And it's all because they've been here, they are surrounded by family who are encouraging them, who are keeping them focused on their education and getting a tremendous education, and then they're able to transfer.
There you go.
Let alone saving the probably $60,000 to do that.
Absolutely.
So it's really a great benefit to all people, low income, high income, middle income. It's
just happened to my niece,
Yep.
true story.
Yep.
And you, my dear, have worn the perfect clothes for this lovely adventure you're
Celebrate
about to
the
have.
bloom. I had to buy the right jacket.
Anyway, thank you both for coming. Look forward to seeing you there.
We'll see you there
We will
on
see you there.
April
Love to
11th.
everybody. April 11th.
We're all
Mark your
about
calendars.
student success.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Patty.
so much. This is great.
We'll be right back with Joe Rosa.
Welcome to J. Russell The Salon, a comprehensive beauty center with over 60 specialists here to help you with all your beauty needs.
We have been redefining beauty for over 30 years. Our state-of-the-art salon is designed to maximize your experience. Come and enjoy the feeling of beauty for yourself. You know the name,
You know the building.
you know the reputation.
We'd like to get to know you.
High above the valley floor, nestled against the mountains, lies Ironwood, a world of beautiful landscapes and vistas so close to nature, but only steps from the heart of Palm Desert. A community rich in history that for generations has honored family, Ironwood offers a sense of place that is always warm and welcoming. With 2 world-class golf courses, tennis, fitness, and spa facilities, Ironwood makes for a wonderful lifestyle experience. Isn't it time you discovered Ironwood?
April is Parkinson's Awareness Month, and we have no better spokesperson to tell us all about Parkinson's than Miss Jo Parkinson's Rosen. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much, Patty. This is really wonderful to be here today. Thank you.
You're just so sweet, and I was telling the guys that we see each other in the morning when we walk our dogs, and it's like 6:30. We don't look like this.
Not quite.
But I knew you. You know what? This is
The hair is a
fabulous.
little different.
The hair is great. Just the fact that there is a month to set aside awareness for Parkinson's because it affects so many is just the best.
It truly is. I mean, it's an epidemic, if not a pandemic already. There are probably 6.5 million people throughout the world with Parkinson's.
6.5
That's a
million?
huge number. That's a
Wow.
huge number. We're right behind Alzheimer's, and it's time in our life that we eradicate it or both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And as we get through today, maybe we'll have a chance to talk about the possibilities.
That's great. That's absolutely wonderful. I mean, that's a step in the right direction.
It was a dream that I made 26 years ago.
I know, and let's go back to Alan and back to that time.
Okay. So I look just about the same.
Maybe.
And actually, the reason that the organization, which is named Parkinson's Resource Organization, was incorporated in 1990, was probably founded in 1989. And that was the year that Alan was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And I really knew nothing about it, although I should have, because my mother had been diagnosed before that. But mother lived in the Midwest, I lived on the West Coast, and so whenever I would go to visit, I thought that everything that was going on with her was age-related.
Yeah.
And never did a clue set in that it was Parkinson's or what Parkinson's was. So in 1990, after investigating all of the other organizations and what was going on in the Parkinson's world, there was an area that was not being attended to, and that was the spousal caregiver or the adult child. And so when we initially started, it was specifically for the adult child and the spousal caregiver,
Okay.
a place for them to go and address their concerns, their issues.
Wonderful.
And it has evolved substantially since, but that was how we started. How many years are we at this? 26 years. Yes.
26 years.
And so along the way, then we moved to the desert from the Los Angeles area, and the organization came along with us. And it is now a very large organization whose outreach is over 55,000,
Yeah.
and it's global. And we're doing what I believe is incredible work, and can't do it alone. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the sole
I understand.
person behind all of this, but it is magnificent to think how many families or how many people we have helped throughout these years. The mission of the organization is working so that no one is isolated because of Parkinson's. And unfortunately, it's a disease where insular situations take place. The person with Parkinson's becomes insular. The caregiver becomes isolated because they either can't go out, they're afraid to go out, and they're so ensconced in the business of taking care of the person with Parkinson's that they neglect themselves, and going out and socializing would be a part of that.
And can I tell you that I think it's so amazing that you put a spotlight on the caregiver, because so often, I mean, everyone thinks of the patient, but the caregiver is set aside, and I think that's a great thing that you do.
Thank you. There are as many caregivers, obviously, as there are people
Obviously.
with Parkinson's, I'm rather sure.
Yep.
So, yes, it was a niche, and we're still at it.
I remember Alan, and I remember watching the transition, just somewhat, but I always admired how you dealt with him, and it reminded me a little bit of JD when he had cancer, bladder cancer, and one day he got very angry in the hospital at me, and I walked over and I said, "Don't talk to me that way," and he said, "Thank you for reminding me that I'm me."
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yes. Well, yes, we went through the entire journey. It took Alan 18 years. That's not always the case for people with Parkinson's. There are Parkinsonisms. We're not going to go into that today, but there are some disease aspects or names that are called atypical or Parkinsonism or Parkinson's-like, and those tend to be shorter in duration, and then generic Parkinson's, I was going to use a big word, idiopathic, but generic Parkinson's is one that can last as many as 40 years. So Alan certainly had generic Parkinson's and lived with it for very well for 15 years, and then for 3 years it was really tough for all of us.
Any possibility of a cure?
Oh, they're absolute. Thank you so much for asking that, because Alan died in 2007. And I certainly could have given up my post at that point and had thought of it on numerous occasions. And every time I was really ready to give it up, or so I thought, something came to me to say, not yet, try this, or give this kind of hope, or give that. And so about 3.5 years ago, I was introduced to a biotech company in San Diego. And I was introduced by someone who wanted to invest in the company.
Okay.
And he asked me if I would please go to interview them. And I said, I'm just a regular person. I'm not an MD, I'm not a PhD, so, why are you asking? And he said, because I think you know more about Parkinson's than many people, including my doctors.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I'm honored that you would ask, but I'll do my best and I will go interview. So I did. And that was in November of 2011. And I took all of their information, but what I saw in the laboratory and what I heard them say, I'd never heard of this before, because it is the first time in the history of mankind, that's the history, forever, that anyone has been able to breach the blood-brain barrier, which is that which is needed to cure all neurological diseases. And so I thought, wow, we really have something here. So I went and interviewed them several more times before January of 2012. And at January 2012, I made my commitment to support and get them on the map.
And look at your enthusiasm. Love it. Love you.
Thank you.
Okay, April is Parkinson's month. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you
so much.
What a pleasure.
Be right back.
Hi, I'm Gabi for our unique desert lifestyle. You just have to check out Gabi Fashions and Gabi Els Boutique. If you're looking for trendsetting fashions and a fresh, hip vibe, Gabi Els Boutique is what you are looking for. Our fun fashion experts can help you put together a look that will turn heads and get attention. If shopping therapy and a new look gives you that attitude adjustment, come shop Gabi Els Boutique and get noticed.
What do you have when you buy a Lexus from Desert Lexus? Peace of mind. Peace of mind knowing Desert Lexus has a large inventory of new and certified pre-owned Lexus vehicles for you to choose from, and a service department conveniently open Saturdays, offering a fleet of complimentary service loaners to keep you on schedule. For over 25 years, Desert Lexus has been giving their customers peace of mind. Desert Lexus, located at the Cathedral City Auto Center, or online at desertlexus.com.
And so we all have a story we'd like to tell, and I've been working on my book for years, but I can't get past the dedication page, so it'll probably never get printed. This is Death and Taxes. This is absolutely amazing by Richard V. Rupp, but I would like to read to you his dedication page. To my patient and beautiful wife, Colleen, who has continually encouraged me to write and whose editing skills greatly improved this story. So right away, I love the book. Hello, Richard.
Good morning. How are you?
So great to have you here, and Colleen's over there too.
Yep, my wife, who's my editor.
Yes. I have to, there you go. She's watching the monitor. So the truth is that my husband has read this book and has written a review. I don't know, they're looking for it back there. But I would like for you to start from the beginning and tell us how you first came up with the whole concept.
Well, that's, I guess, a good question. I actually wrote, I retired from the insurance business and was a writer in the business community, and decided I wanted to try to write fiction. And so I came up with two characters, Dick Hartman, who was an FBI agent out of San Francisco, and then Colleen, named after my wife, Colleen Ryan, who is also an FBI agent, and they are involved with a squad in San Francisco. And I knew I wanted the book to be a series of books.
Good.
So this is the first in the series. And somehow I either wanted murder or death in the title, and it ended up Death and Taxes because I picked the first location where the murder is going to occur that they're going to investigate was the IRS Service Center in Fresno, California.
Okay.
Now that goes back over 4 years ago when I started working on this. And I have no idea now, I can't remember why I selected the IRS Service Center in Fresno, but
That's
I did.
okay, it
and
worked.
It worked, yeah. Was able to get a story out of it.
Richard says that it's so exciting.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
And he is a reader. Unfortunately, I don't have as much time to read, but he could hardly put this one down.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
And he's looking forward to the second book.
I've had several people actually tell me that, so that is good to hear. And I'm having fun writing. It's you really get involved in it, and you get involved with your characters. And I tell people every place I go now, well, who am I going to murder here?
Oh, whoops.
I don't want to say that too much out loud.
Well, I know that he was excited. There's a part in the book when I guess when you guys came to Ironwood. So.
Yes, I have an uncle. The FBI agent has an uncle who's living in Ironwood, so we come up here and visit the uncle, the FBI agent. And in fact, my next book, well, the third book, my next book is basically completed, and that's Death on the High Seas. But to scare the people here, the third book is Death at Sunnylands.
Oh my!
Where the Secretary of State gets murdered.
Oh dear! Oh dear!
At Sunnylands. So,
Sunnylands.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I pick locations and then build a story around that.
Okay, so now the second book is actually finis.
Yes.
And what happens? When will that be out, or when can we look for it?
I would suspect it will be out later this year, the end of this year.
Very good.
Is the plan anyway?
I can get it from my husband for Christmas.
There you go.
Yeah, good Christmas present.
Yeah.
Well, how has it been for the family? I mean, does it take away, or do you set aside time for writing and?
Yes. Well, I write. It's interesting. I write during the day, usually in the morning. And then you'll get dead spots where you get the writer's blank. Or
yeah, and you can't do it when that happens. Thank you so much. This hot off the press. Continue. Go right ahead.
Then I'll take a walk or take a shower and think about it, and ideas come up. And then just watching television shows or reading the newspaper, you all of a sudden will come up with an idea that, oh, I can include this in a book. And it's, as I say, it's fun to do.
This is great. You're going to be very happy. This is Richard Caruso's analysis of Richard Rupp's book, Death and Taxes. I am a prolific reader of mystery books, at least 50 a year. And I put this book on the top of my list next to my other favorite author, Stuart Woods. You really know that this is a great read when you don't want to put the book down. Looking so forward to his next book.
Ah, thank you.
Very nice.
That is very nice. I appreciate
and that comes from somebody who really does know. I mean, he does truly read. You know, he doesn't play as much golf as he used to, so books have replaced that.
Well, the interesting thing is we have a lot of similar backgrounds. I was born in Santa Monica. And the names are the same. I'm sure he caught on to the what I did with Richard and Dick and Richie in the book.
Yes.
Which I'm sure he's been through.
That's an ongoing, absolutely. But I cannot thank you enough for coming to talk about this one, and look forward to the second one. You'll have to come back.
I will definitely do that.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. And we'll go now to Father Howard Lincoln. Father Lincoln?
Very frequently, it seems, people ask me, why does God, if He loves us so much, allow so much evil and suffering in the world? That question has been asked by people down through the ages for thousands of years. One of the answers is that God gives us freedom, and we abuse that freedom and cause, frankly, nearly all of the world's suffering. For example, when I was 9 years old, my 41-year-old father died of lung cancer. And he left behind my mom, a wife who deeply loved him, and my little sister. Katie was 4 years old at the time. When my father was dying, my mother did not stand beside his bed saying, "Why is God allowing this to happen?" Because my mom knew that Dad was dying because for 25 years my father had smoked 4 packs of cigarettes per day. My dad had not taken care of himself. My dad had misused his freedom. My dad had chosen to smoke. When we look at the world, we don't think about the horrible consequences when we misuse our freedom. For example, did God or men cause 2 world wars in the last century, or commit acts of terrorism in this century? Did God send those planes on 9/11? Does God or men beat up the elderly, rape women, and abuse little children? Who has devastated flocks of birds and schools of whales and defoliated millions of acres of land? Against whom at night do we bar our windows and bolt our doors? God or man? I know that all of this doesn't explain why a 6-year-old gets cancer, but I do know that most of the pain on the earth is wholly unnecessary and wholly our own doing. And yet God does not remove our freedom. God does not make us robots. And with God, we can survive and even progress to the point of a renewed creation. We could use our freedom to get it right.
Thank you, Father Lincoln, Father Howard Lincoln. I want to thank all my guests today, and I want to thank you for joining us. Until we meet again, remember, yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery. Today's a gift, and that's why we call it the present. Live in the now moment, enjoy our valley views, those you see and those you hear. Take good care and keep smiling. It's contagious. Peace, love, joy, faith, God bless, and hope to see you soon.
It's how you make it, so make it the most right from the start. What's going on around me and you? There's a girl who can say for sure she knows a thing or two. It's Patty's Valley View.